Hiya, welcome back to the workshop. In my video on Monday, I made this tool, and I've got a box scraper this side, and if I rotate it over 180 degrees, I've got a French curve scraper. So I'm basically making two tools out of one. But I also put a round shank onto a square shank. That's all in the other video. The reason for that is to put it into a handle through this adapter so that I can change the handles. You see I've got a few behind me. This one, this one, this one, this one. There's a couple of others that are off camera. And I find them useful. Plus it also means I can change the length of the handle. If I'm doing demonstrations at clubs, I can take the tool out of the handle and make my packing box smaller. There's lots of advantages. I didn't make the handle because I didn't have any steamed pear. Now I've got some steamed pear, thanks to the handles. Here we go. One piece of steamed pear spindle. Start by getting the corners off of it. Right, and now I have my safety specs on. So we'll get on with it. Bit more speed. Your longer tool rest. That's most of the corners off. It's still got some flats on it, but I'm not going to worry about those just yet. What I'm going to do is get it into the chuck. And for that, I'm going to use the old faithful round bar skew, which isn't skewed. Now, clearly we're a long way off the chuck at the end of this. So I'm going to use the tailstock, loosen the chuck a bit, to keep my centre. I'm just going to refine my shape a little bit before I go any further, because I could have gone further on the between centres, but it's hard work pushing the on and off button regular. And I'll switch to a different tool. I'm going to use my continental spindle gouge from Ashley Isles, still covered in dust from the project I did the other day, and that is a 1-inch continental spindle gouge. It's not refined finish because I'm not interested in that just yet. But we are now pretty much in shape. When I cut this blank, I was going to make a handle out of that blank, that size. But I already have one. Right, not quite the same size, but pretty much. So I decided I was going to make this a bit smaller. Just a bit. Because sometimes this handle's too long and it gets in the way of things. The ferrule's the same size, so I figured I would have a handle that length. A sensible thing to do would be to cut that off of this end before I go any further. But I'm not sensible. Why bother? So, we need a hole. Right, it makes no difference for the scraper that's going to go in here as default, but it does make a difference for the bowl gouge. So I want a fairly deep hole so I can put the bowl gouge in and out to adjust the length of my tool. So it's a 20mm size to fit this particular adapter. That's a 20mm. It's actually made by a friend of mine who's a proper engineer. And when I said I want a 20mm size, he sent them through it exactly 20mm, and I went back and said, can I have a bit? It's bigger than that, because I want to put them in with a compression fit. So I had to specify 20.1mm, because he does proper numbers, not like woodworkers. Anyway, these are available from Mark Beckett's shop at the moment. They were designed by me and made by Alec, who's a metal engineer, who's got a CNC lathe who does these jobs. I actually want to slide the bowl gouge in and out and have some extra depth. So I want a 20mm hole the length of that adapter. And I want an 18mm hole the rest of it, because there's a 16mm bar. And so this is how I do it. So Jacobs with a 20mm. So the biggest one first. Switch the camera. Okay, so I've got the 20mm portion of it in the Jacobs chuck. And I'm just going to start. I'm not going to start the lathe until I've got that point engaged in the exact center hole that was left by the tailstock, because this is long and there is some room for movement here. So locating it first helps. And I'm going to reduce my speed. Lock the tailstock in place will help. And all I want is a shoulder. That will help later on to guide this into the same place. I'll then switch to the 18, and I start the 18 without an extension. I think that helps keep the hole in a nice straight line. So I have the force bit extension here, and I've already taped it to the depth I actually want this hole to be. The extension isn't overly accurate, so I find if I put it into the hole I've already made, it'll follow the same line. Keep this clean. Bit of beeswax helps. So that's the 18 hole. So this one needs to be long enough to get the ferrule in. Not really a ferrule, it's an adapter. And when I was designing these, I tested them with a piece of cheapest broom handle I could find. Fitted these into the broom handle. Turned the lathe up to 2,500 RPM and deliberately got a catch. You know how hard it is to deliberately get a catch when you don't accidentally do it, but you want to do it. It's also quite scary because it was running fast and I was deliberately trying to cause a problem. It never broke the broom handle. So if you've got decent timber, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. So now I use that pilot hole that I started with this to line it up. So I'm bang on the same direction of hole. And I just go into my tape. And that cuts very easily because, of course, all the middle's already gone. So a hole is drilled. I do not glue my adapters in. Some people do, but that's fine. I'm certainly quite happy to use glue to it when I'm making a fixed handle. But because I'm spinning this, I will take those 2 grub screws out of there. Put them on camera before I say about them. I will take those 2 grub screws out of there because I don't want them rattling loose and come flying at me. So for safety reasons, I remove those for the time being. And I use the tailstock as a press to push it in. I don't put any glue, any lubrication of any sort on these. Sometimes I will use water as a lubrication, which is counterintuitive because it will spoil the wood. But if you're quick enough, you can put the water on there, push it in, and when the water dries, there is nothing holding it other than the fact it's tight in the wood. But on these, I don't need to. So, tailstock up and just wind it in. That's all fitted and nicely secure. I can now cut down to the shoulder and get everything right. So now the tailstock is providing my stability along here, and we can start thinking about shaping this tool. Now I like that shape. It's a Robert Sorby. Change the camera. It's a Robert Sorby handle, and I think they got it right. It's nice. So I like that shape. So I'm going to go for roughly that. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter because I want a little shorter one, just for the ability to change things between one handle and another. But roughly that shape. So I can take some pencil lines off of that. So there's a high point, there's a low point, and then mine is going to be shorter, so I will start my finishing line there. You can, of course, cut to any design you like. I'm going to move that up a little bit because this is shorter, so I'm going to move it up to there. And I'm going to go to a spindle gauge. I'm going to go back to my Continental. I like this for many reasons. One of them is it's quick. But it's not so good at tight corners. As far as I'm going to go at the moment, because I'm going to laser my handle. So at this stage, I want to keep that thickness there. And I'm going to sand it. I'm going to sand it to 180. Okay, Rob, I will show some sanding. So this is my 180. Obviously, Rob, I did start at 40 grit, build my way up. Honestly, one of the reasons I like the steam pair is you cut it, you touch it 180, job's done. I have to be honest, my main reason for liking it is it's heavy. Got a nice feel to it. Which might make it not right for some. If you like a lighter tool, then find a different wood. Nothing overly special about tool handles. Straight grain's handy. Obviously, you don't really want knots in them, but they're pretty straightforward. Now, I could go and point a camera at the laser and let you watch it burn, but can't be bothered. So that's the software all set up. I just click Start Engraving. Deal with the prompts. And there it is. Okay, so it's lasered. It's back on the lathe. Purely vanity this, but you know, my tool handle, why not? Let's finish making it pretty. Not that far apart. And one down the bottom end here. And I go one by my name. Just there. Grab the old burning wire, which in my case is just a piece of wire between two handles. Ready for some oil. I like to oil my handles. I don't want wax on them because I don't want my hands to slip. I hate varnished handles because that's just crazy. Bit of oil, protects the wood, looks good, and keeps me smiling. The best thing about making handles is I'm the one that gets to use them. Use a bit of Hampshire Sheen Danish on this. I'm going to pause the camera because what I'm going to do is put on a couple of coats. That's my recipe for making a handle. I've now backed off the tailstock a little bit. And I'm going to pile it off. Now, obviously this handle was made with this tool. But I also made it so that I can put this gouge in it and maybe use the longer handle that came with this gouge on the scraper. But remember, I also drilled the hole nice and deep. So if I'm going on a demo, I can put my tool in that way around, all the way in. It's nice and short. And I'm not going to blunt it in the carrying bag. Or I can adjust my tool length by putting it in a note. But that wasn't the purpose of this handle. This handle belongs to this one. Two grub screws. A nice tool. It looks good. It feels good. And, well, problem solved there. So that's it. One tool handle. Part 2 of making the tool itself. I will link the other video to this video so that it comes up on the end screens of each. I didn't do them all in one go because I didn't have any wood. I wanted to make it a particular type of wood because I like it. So as I didn't have any, I had to make 2 videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please remember to click the thumbs up. That really, really does help my channel if you put the thumbs up. And even more help is if you comment. That's really appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We'd love to have you with us. Cheers for now.